Welcome to the channel. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of floor and ceiling functions. These mathematical tools might sound a little bit technical, but they're incredibly useful in many areas, from computer science to everyday problem solving to number theory. Let's break them down and see how they work. First up, the floor function. This function takes any real number and rounds it down to the nearest integer. For example, the floor function of 2.9 equals 2. It's like always taking the lower step when climbing downstairs. You always round down with the floor function. On the flip side, we have the ceiling function. This one rounds any real number up to the nearest integer. So the ceiling function of 2.1 equals 3. Now that we've got the basics, let's see these functions in action with some real-world examples. Visualizing these functions can make them much easier to understand. Let's look at a number line. The floor function creates a step-like pattern, where each interval from n to n plus 1 maps to the integer n. So the entire space between 3 and 4 is rounded down to 3. Similarly, the ceiling function also creates steps, but they start from n minus 1 to n and map up to n. This visualization helps us to see the discrete jumps that these functions make. Let's dive a little bit deeper into the properties and rules of these functions. Understanding these can really help with solving problems. For the floor function, we have a key property. The floor function of x is always less than or equal to x, but greater than x minus 1. For instance, if x is 2.7, the floor function of x is 2, which satisfies 2 is less than or equal to 2.7 is less than 3. For the ceiling function, the key property is that the ceiling of x is always greater than x, but less than or equal to x plus 1. If x is 3.2, then the ceiling of x is 4, satisfying 3 is less than 3.2 is less than or equal to 4. Now let's talk about something intriguing, the derivatives and integrals of floor and ceiling functions. Due to their step-like nature, floor and ceiling functions are not differentiable at any integer points. This is because they have abrupt jumps, breaking the smoothness required for traditional derivatives. But what about integration? When integrating these functions, we approach it piecewise, considering each interval separately. For example, integrating the floor function from 1 to 3, we split it into intervals, from 1 to 2, and again from 2 to 3, all the way up to the number that we need. This gives us the sum of areas under each of the steps. If we integrate the floor function of x from 1 to 3, we get the area from 1 to 2, which is 1, and the area from 2 to 3, which is 2. So the integral equals 1 plus 2 equals 3. And there you have it. We've explored some of the basics of the fascinating world of floor and ceiling functions, and their definitions and a few visualizations of their properties, along with a couple calculus applications. Remember, the floor function rounds down, and the ceiling function rounds up, and both have unique properties that make them incredibly useful in various fields. I hope this video has helped you to understand these functions better, and if you've enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more videos. If you have any questions or ideas for topics that you'd like me to cover, drop them below in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.